God says He thinks you don't know. He thinks you're unaware of the conversations He has behind closed doors, the thoughts He hides behind silence, the intentions He buries beneath His excuses. He thinks you're simply trusting because you're naive, because you overlook the small signs, because you don't ask enough questions. What he doesn't know is that God has been watching all along, and God has placed a spiritual antenna inside your heart that picks up what your mind can't yet explain. God sees every whisper, every shift, every contradiction, every moment someone tries to appear one way while living another. And now, God is letting you feel what you cannot yet see, because the truth that has been hidden is on the verge of being exposed. There is a reason your spirit has been unsettled. A reason your heart feels like it's trying to tell you something you haven't been able to put into words. A reason your emotions have started to fluctuate in ways you can't control. You're not imagining anything. The little tugs in your intuition are not random. They are warnings, signals, spiritual alerts sent by God so you don't walk blind into the very thing someone wants to keep you blind to. God is uncovering what has been kept from you, and the very secrets He thought would never surface are already rising to the top. God has watched you love with sincerity, honesty, and transparency, even when others offered you half-truths, vague answers, and intentions wrapped in fog. God has seen you give from the deepest part of yourself, hoping that your love would call forth honesty, loyalty, and alignment. And for a while, you believed it would. You believed the connection was real, the bond was mutual, and the future was shared. But slowly, God started showing you the cracks. The pauses. The inconsistencies. The subtle distance that didn't match the words. The sudden changes that didn't make sense. The emotions that felt warm one moment and cold the next. God is revealing these things not to hurt you, but to protect you. Protection doesn't always feel comfortable at first. Sometimes it feels like confusion, disappointment, or even heartbreak. But what you're sensing now is divine intervention. God interfering with what could have damaged you more deeply later. God is placing light on the places He kept dark. And where there is light, the truth cannot survive hidden any longer. You may think you're just overthinking, but you're not. You may think you're just emotional, but you're not. What you are is spiritually aware, divinely guided, and incredibly sensitive to what God whispers into your discernment. There is something He hasn't told you. Something He tries to manage Himself while acting like everything is fine. Something He convinced Himself would never matter, never surface, never come to your attention. But God has decided otherwise. God is stepping into the story. And once God steps in, no secret can stay buried. There is a moment coming, very soon, when God will show you exactly what you need to see. Not to shame Him, not to destroy Him, but to free you. To free you from confusion, from emotional dependency, from illusions, from unanswered questions that weigh heavily on your heart. God doesn't want you trapped in a story built on half-truths. God doesn't want your heart tied to someone who isn't being fully honest. And even if He cares about you, even if some part of His heart is genuine, God will expose anything that could harm your spirit. He has been living with two minds, two intentions, two realities. And he thought he could manage that double-layered life without you ever noticing. He believed your kindness made you unaware. What he didn't realize is that your kindness comes with discernment. Your love comes with spiritual perception. And your connection to God makes you see what others think they're hiding. God has been letting small signs appear around you because the truth is too big to stay hidden. People slip when they try to hold a mask for too long. Their energy shifts. Their words betray them. Their silence reveals what their mouth refuses to say. Their behavior becomes inconsistent with their intentions. And slowly, the truth starts to leak through the cracks. God allows this so you aren't deceived by what someone wants you to believe. He thinks you don't know. But deep down, you do. You just haven't had the proof yet. You've had the feeling, the intuition, the inner pull, the sense of misalignment. And because you care, you've been trying to ignore it. You've been trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. You've been hoping it's just your fear, not your discernment. But God is clarifying it for you now. God is making sure there is no confusion left. He is preparing to expose what cannot stay in the dark. This is not punishment. This is revelation. And revelation always comes when your heart is too valuable for God to let someone mishandle it. You have been faithful, patient, understanding, forgiving, and open-hearted. You've held on even when you felt uncertain, even when your spirit was whispering that something was off. God saw that. God saw your endurance, your love, your willingness to try. And because your heart is precious to Him, He is stepping in with the truth you deserve. This exposure will not tear you down. It will liberate you. It will heal you. It will bring clarity where you've been confused. It will restore your self-trust where doubt has been eating at you. And it will shift your path back into alignment with God's protection. Something inside you already knows what's coming. That inner knowing is not fear, it's God preparing you. The truth that has been kept from you is about to open in front of you like a scene revealing itself line by line. You won't have to search for it. You won't have to beg for answers. You won't have to chase explanations. God Himself will show you, and when He does, you will understand why your heart felt unsettled, why certain things didn't add up, why your emotions kept swinging, why you felt spiritually alert even when everything seemed normal on the surface. You will understand the purpose behind every uneasy moment. God has been guarding you in ways you didn't even realize. You thought you were just being sensitive, but you were being protected. You thought you were just reacting emotionally, but your spirit was responding to what your mind hadn't seen yet. God places a shield over people He loves, especially when someone's intentions toward them aren't clean, clear, or consistent. And though you tried to quiet your intuition, God kept turning up the volume because He didn't want you walking into something blind. He didn't want you settling for a version of love that required you to dim your awareness. He knows the quiet frustration inside you, the kind that builds when you feel something is wrong but don't have the evidence to explain it. He knows the exhaustion of trying to trust someone whose actions feel misaligned with their words. God has heard every whispered prayer, every late-night question, every silent conversation you have had within yourself. He has watched you try to convince your own heart to let it go, to not assume the worst, to believe in the best. But God is gentle and firm. He will not let you talk yourself out of the truth He is sending into your spirit. Something about Him changed. You felt it. You sensed the shift in His tone, the slight emotional distancing, the weight in His silence, the excuses that felt too convenient, the inconsistencies that grew more frequent. You noticed the way His attention flickered. How His mind seemed to drift even when His body was present, how His affection felt scattered rather than consistent. He thought He was being subtle, but God was letting you see what He didn't realize He was showing. There are conversations He has had, feelings He has entertained, actions He has taken, worries He carries, or decisions He is considering that He hasn't revealed to you. Not because He's necessarily evil or malicious, but because He's afraid. Afraid of losing you. Afraid of confrontation. Afraid of admitting things He doesn't know how to handle. Afraid of facing consequences. Afraid of looking vulnerable or flawed. So He hides. He postpones honesty. He keeps things in the shadows because He thinks hiding buys Him time. But God does not allow what affects your heart to remain hidden forever. Sooner or later, the truth rises. And the truth in His life, the truth He has tried to manage alone, is surfacing now. He thinks He can handle it without you noticing. But God is stepping in to reveal the things He lacks the courage to speak. God is uncovering what your loyalty deserves to know. Your heart has been too faithful to be misled. Too pure to be manipulated. Too genuine to be entangled in confusion. God will not let you stay where honesty isn't fully present, and as God clears the fog, you will begin to see what you weren't meant to carry. You will realize that the uneasiness you've been feeling is not weakness, it is divine preparation. You're not breaking down, you're breaking out. God is releasing you from the emotional weight that didn't belong to you in the first place. You were never meant to carry someone else's secrets, someone else's guilt, someone else's hesitation, someone else's divided heart. God is about to show you conversations that matter. Truths that change your perspective. Hidden intentions that will finally make sense of everything you've been feeling. The revelation won't be cruel, it will be cleansing. It won't be chaotic, it will be clarifying. It won't destroy you, it will strengthen you. You may even find that the truth doesn't hurt as deeply as the uncertainty did. Because confusion wounds the heart more than truth ever can. Truth sets you free, even when it surprises you. Truth restores your confidence, even when it challenges your assumptions. Truth rebuilds your strength, even when it first shakes you. God is preparing you for a moment of clarity, and when it arrives, something powerful will shift inside you. The fog you've been living under will lift. You will feel yourself expanding again, emotionally, spiritually, mentally. You will stop questioning yourself. You will stop doubting your intuition. You will stop giving him credit he hasn't earned. And you will stop carrying the burden of wondering what is real and what is not. He thinks you don't know. But God knows. God has always known. And now God is making sure you know. There will be a day soon, sooner than you expect, when something he says, does, forgets to mention, accidentally reveals, or cannot hide any longer will make everything click. You won't have to pry. You won't have to investigate. The truth will come to you naturally, effortlessly, unforced. God will place it right in front of you. And when it does, you will realize that God was preparing your heart for this revelation long before it appeared. Don't fear what is coming. God is in the middle of this. God is gently shifting your path so you don't anchor your future to someone whose honesty is incomplete. God is pulling you toward alignment, stability, and clarity. And sometimes, to get you there, he has to expose what isn't meant for you. Deep inside, you've already felt the truth pressing against your spirit. You just needed God to confirm it. And he will. He is. You're not losing something, you're being guided. You're not being abandoned. You're being redirected. You're not being rejected, you're being protected. There is a moment coming when everything that has been confusing, everything that has been heavy, everything that has felt uncertain will suddenly make sense. God is aligning your understanding with his timing. He didn't reveal the truth earlier because your heart wasn't ready for it, not because God wanted to keep you in the dark. Sometimes God lets you feel the spiritual vibration of something long before he allows you to see the full picture. That's why you've been sensing things without proof. That's why you've been feeling emotional shifts without explanations. That's why your intuition has been louder than usual. God was preparing you for what he is about to reveal. He thinks you don't know because he believes his silence is invisible. But silence is loud to someone who listens with their spirit. He thinks you don't notice the hesitation, the inconsistency, the subtle distance, the parts of him that pull away while pretending everything is fine. What he doesn't understand is that God lives inside you. And where God dwells, truth always rises. God has been slowing you down so you wouldn't drift into something that wasn't fully meant for you. He has been pulling at your emotions because he needed you to recognize when something inside you was unsettled. You tried to quiet the warnings, but God kept them steady. You tried to overrule your intuition, but God strengthened it. You tried to give him excuses, but God took them away. You tried to see the best in him, but God made sure you also saw the parts that didn't align with your worth. This exposure is not about punishing him, it is about awakening you. God is shifting your vision from what you wanted to believe to what you needed to see. And even though the truth may be surprising, it won't break you. Your heart is stronger than you think. God isn't showing you the truth to hurt you, He's showing it so you can walk into your next chapter without confusion, without fear, without being held back by something that was never meant to hold all of you. God knows you love deeply. You love with loyalty, consistency, and sincerity. But sometimes the person you love is not prepared to meet your heart with the same honesty. And God will not let you settle for half when you were created for whole. So He steps in. He interrupts. He exposes. He reveals. He brings clarity where someone else tried to plant confusion. He brings light into places someone wanted to keep dim. He brings understanding to the emotions you couldn't explain. A day will come, soon, when you will look back at this moment and realize it was divine rescue. You will see how God protected you from a future that would have cost you too much. You will see how God made sure you didn't invest your whole soul into someone who wasn't ready to offer their whole truth. You will see how the exposure, painful as it may be, saved you from heartbreak that could have damaged you far more deeply later. You are stepping into a season where God is refining your circle, sharpening your discernment, and elevating your standards. You will no longer tolerate confusion disguised as love. You will no longer accept mixed signals disguised as affection. You will no longer settle for someone whose words say one thing but whose actions say another. God is raising your awareness because the love meant for you will require clarity, transparency, and truth, not secrets, not silence, not hidden intentions. And when God removes something, He always replaces it with something better. Not instantly, not rushed, not forced, but beautifully, divinely, naturally. The person God has for you will match your energy, your effort, your honesty. They won't have to hide things. They won't create emotional fog. They won't make you question your worth or your intuition. They will meet you with a heart that is open, consistent, and aligned. They will love you without secrecy, without hesitation, without confusion, but before God brings the right person, He must first expose the wrong situation. Before He gives you the relationship that honors your spirit, He must show you the connections that only drain it. That's why the truth is coming now. The season of uncertainty is ending. The veil is being lifted. God is releasing you from what doesn't align with your purpose. The truth He is about to show you will empower you. It will strengthen your self-respect. It will sharpen your clarity. It will heal the parts of you that have been doubting yourself. It will restore your confidence in your intuition. It will help you understand that you were never crazy, you were discerning. You were never paranoid, you were spiritually sensitive. You were never imagining things, God was whispering warnings into your soul. The truth is coming, and when it arrives, you will find peace. Not because everything worked out the way you hoped, but because everything worked out the way God intended. You will not remain stuck in confusion. You will not remain bound to someone who cannot be honest. You will not remain attached to what cannot sustain your spirit. This exposure is the doorway to your freedom. And once you walk through it, God will show you why He needed you to see the truth exactly as you are seeing it now. Something better is waiting for you, something honest, steady, and pure. Something aligned with your worth. Something shaped by God. And when it arrives, you will realize why this revelation had to happen first. You are being set free. You are being protected. You are being prepared. And God is about